Welcome back. In this section, we will learn about how to display and update task status. So this is a to-do list component. Let's go into the to-do list component. I'll press Control and left click. It will take me to the component. Inside this to-do list component, we have tasks. So we want to display and update the status of the task. So let's navigate to this task component. So this individual task is a list item, and we are saying that if the list item dot status is completed, then we want to display the strike above this list item, and otherwise we don't want to show this strike. So let's just add a little bit styling on it. So I'll add a style component. So I'll add a style attribute and provide a styling. So I'll just add color, and let's just add a color green if the task is completed. And similarly, I'll go into the list item, and this is the condition that will be executed when task status is pending. So in this case, I'll add the style and set the color to red. So I'll hit save, and now if I go back to my browser, you can see that our completed items are being shown in green color and the pending items are shown in red color. Right now, one of the item is deleted, which is happening because we have called a delete to do item function. So for that, I'll go back to my app.js and I'll just comment this code, which is deleting the to do item. So now if I go back to the browser, here you can see that we have 5 elements. Two of them are pending and three are completed. So we want to update the task status whenever the user presses the task item. So let's go into the to-do list, and inside this task component, so we want to update the status of the task whenever the task is clicked. So let's go into to-do list component and navigate inside the task component. And inside this task component, we have list items. So we want to add a function on this list item component. So let's just add an on click event. So I'll say whenever the list item is clicked, call the function change item status. So this change item status is not defined right now. So we'll come back to this point later. First, just add this on click event to this list item in case of the task is pending also. So I've added this change item status. So we'll receive this change item status inside the props. So let's change it to props dot change item status. So let's go back to to-do list. Inside this to-do list, we also don't have this change item status. So it will pass this change item status to the task component. So we would need to pass change item status to the task component, and this to-do list item will also receive the change item status in the props. So change item status. Okay, so this a change item status, it is passing to the task component and it is receiving change item status inside the props. So this to-do list item is being called from to-do app.js. So we need to pass this change item status function to to-do list, and it will pass this to the task component, and task component will apply this function whenever the list item is clicked. So inside this change item status here, we'll go and uncomment this change item status function. What is happening inside this change item status function is that it is getting an item and it is checking that if the status of the item is pending, it is setting the item.status to completed. And if it is not pending, it is completed, then it is setting the status, to pending. So it receives the item, so it sets the status of the item to pending if it was completed previously, and it sets the status to completed if it was pending previously. Next, it filters all the elements from the to-do list items, which is our state, and it now after this function is executed, this other items will contain all the to-do items except the item which was passed in. So we have updated this item, so we'll remove this from the previous array and then add it as a new item into the set to do list item. And finally, we are calling set to do items, which will update our state. And as a result, the component will be re-rendered and the UI will be updated. So let's just copy this change item status and pass it to do list items. So inside to do list, this is not using this. This is just passing it to the task component. So let's go into the task. And inside this task, we have this change item status function. So we'll pass this change item status function accepts the to do item. So we need to pass this to do item. So we have that to do item in props. So I'll say props dot to do item. So now if I click save and go back to the browser window, here we are getting an error. Maximum update depth exceeded. This happens when the component repeatedly calls set state inside component will mount. So we are getting an error probably because the state is changing in an infinite loop. So let's just go and check again what we are doing. We are creating to-do list and passing change status function to do list. Inside change status function, we are just changing the status and calling the set state. Inside to do list, we are not doing anything. We are just passing this change item status function to the task function. And inside our task function, we are using this change item status function and we are passing an item to it. So probably this is a function on click. So we want to execute this function. So this is an arrow function. I've changed it to an arrow function and probably this will fix the issue. So now if I click save and go back to the browser window, okay, so now my app is running without errors. Here we can see that we have 3 items that are completed and 2 items that are pending. So now if I click this first item, you can see the status of this first item has changed and it has turned green and now it is completed. And similarly, if I click this third item, you can see this status is changed and this is also changed to completed. So now we have 0 pending items and 5 completed items. And similarly, if I'll click any of these items, its status will change and it will set to a pending. So if I click this fifth one, you can see the status is changed and now it is in red and the status is pending for 1 element and completed for 4 items. One thing that you have noticed here is that whenever we click any item, it is added to the end of the list. So if I click this fourth, this will be added to the end of list. If I click this second, this is added to the end of the list. So this is happening because if we go and have a look inside our to-do app.js, where our change item status is being called, first we add all other elements in the array, and finally in the end we add this newly created item. So if I move it from here to the start, so I'll change this to item and then add all other items. Now if I go back to my app and click first, you'll see that it will remain in the first position. Now if I click second, it will move to the first position. So this is happening because we have created it in such a way. If we want to keep the sort order, we can just sort this array based on the IDs of the to-do items. In next section, we will build a done button component. Thank you for watching.